It's so wild watching adults, grown men, try to twist themselves into literal pretzels in order to be able to justify why they are so off-put by black people or women being predominant figures in movies. Just like, it never stops being funny to me that you are grown adults of all the things, and like, you turn this into your channels. This is your life. This is my lot in life. This is what I want to be. I will define myself by someone who is going to be in the field of basically losing my every single time there's a woman or a black person or an indigenous person in a movie role and they're not being vilified for some reason or marginalized for some reason. That's, to me, a really huge thing. It's my calling, my cause, if you will. We gotta talk about the great wokeification of the wokening and how it has wokeified society, and how none of us will stop the great wokening as long as they're allowed to keep doing this.
There's no doubt that both Amazon and Disney have some big problems of late. Their latest big budget productions are not being well received by audiences, which is putting it mildly. Disney's She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, is unfunny, uninteresting, and in classic feminist style, it's filled with incompetent male characters, and it's going nowhere and only serving to detract from the legacy of the MCU. Of course, the MCU has already seen better days and is now essentially coasting on past glories, while also attempting to...
Ooh, this is really important, by the way. This is important stuff. This is what we should be talking about.
reconfigure itself to adopt to the woke agenda of Hollywood. Disney also looks to have another monumental failure on its hands in the form of the forthcoming The Little Mermaid, the live-action edition, which has been...
I love how this one broke racist brains. Like, here's the thing. The new Little Mermaid, probably going to be absolute garbage, because all Disney remakes are absolute garbage. Disney's a garbage company that is soulless and just wants to make profit on their own properties over and over and over again in perpetuity. Like, you know, generations from now, we'll be watching The Little Mermaid's, like, 40th different version. But either way, the reason it will suck will not be because there's a black actress as Ariel. That has nothing to do with it. But every single one of the, my God, the wokening is upon us. It's the wokeopolis. Oh my God, too much woke.
Universally panned by audiences following the release of its teaser trailer, which has now amassed 21 million views, 1.1 million likes.
We did it! Victory for the racists! What a glorious day. Hey, where were you the day that you found out that The Little Mermaid has 2.7 million downvotes? Like, it's the most petty shit. They always get so excited when it's like, oh, by the way, have you seen the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes? By the by, hey, it's at like 12%. Wait, no, we got this one down to 6%. The movie's not out yet. Hasn't been released. No one's seen it. But we all hate it. Yeah. But not for racist reasons, because we're not racist. This is not about the fact that she's black. I don't care. Okay, this is about just being a bad movie. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know where those likes are coming from. And 2.7 million dislikes. That's an increase of 1.2 million dislikes since my previous video 6 days ago.
Epic,
in addition,
bro.
Disney also
Epic.
has another potential
Holy
dud
shit,
on its
this
hands
is the revolution.
My
racist comrades.
Marvels, a sequel of sorts to Captain Marvel, which I'm sure fans are just dying to see. And by the sounds of a recent Variety interview, primary star Brie Larson already suspects that there's not an awful lot of fan appetite to see her character again.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know.
What did you just say? This is not a human sentence. What was going on there?
Again.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know.
Okay.
No. I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
And then there's Amazon and their billion-dollar disaster in the form of The Lord of the Rings.
What is your metric for a disaster? It is the most viewed premiere and show in Amazon Prime's history. By all metrics, from a capitalist standpoint, they knocked that one out of the park. But like, is it the downvotes that y'all have successfully gotten? Is it that you don't like it? Did you hate the show?
The Rings of Power. The utter vandalization of Tolkien's work. An interesting...
The utter vandalism. There was a black elf. They vandalized him. They dug his corpse from the ground and sodomized the corpse over Amazon Prime. How could you? How could you? One black elf. Oh, and there's a black dwarf. Sorry. Two characters in mythological lands.
Interestingly enough, it currently holds the same audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
And there it is. There it is. There's the Rotten Tomatoes score. Yeah, that's what this is all about. Another, again, victory, my comrades. We've done it. We've done it. We've taken them down. Look at this. We managed to reduce the average audience score of The Lords of the Ring and She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Now, I'm not even trying to, run cover for She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I watched like maybe 10 minutes of the first episode and I was like, this is not me. And I have enjoyed The Lords of Ring, The Rings of Power. But if you don't, that's totally fine as well. You know what? I've also enjoyed the new, Game of Thrones series, House of Targaryen, that features, yes, black characters as high-born, rulers of powerful houses and stuff like that. It has not distracted me from the content. I've not been like, I just can't wrap my head around these fictional characters in a land where dragons fly around and there can be fucking ghost impregnations by dark mages and stuff. For some reason, I just can't accept this. It's just not, I can't process it, Like, no, it has not bothered me. But if you also hate that, that's also fine. If you hate it just because you don't like the shows, that's also fine. But this is honestly breaking their brains. Every single one of them. Like, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just happening like Fast and Furious. It's like happening all at once. It's like all of a sudden, well, not only is there a black mermaid, but we also have a black elf and we have a black dwarf. All these things have happened all at once. I can't process this. It's too much. It's too much.
She-Hulk, 39%. The series is an utter travesty, with jaw-droppingly appalling writing. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw such awful writing and acting at the same time. Check out this scene.
After all you have endured, it is only natural to feel conflicted.
Conflicted? But you have not seen what I've seen.
You just edited it, and also, this is just mainstream Lord of the Rings movie banter, okay? I'm sorry. The Hobbit is so much worse. Than the Amazon show. By I would say every metric. From the writing to the characters to the expanding storylines to the special effects to the overuse of CGI, The Hobbit is terrible.
Good lord. How that didn't make it to the cutting room floor is just beyond me.
That's so weird. Like, I could understand if there was a scene that was just like, it's terrible, it serves no purpose, it doesn't further the plot, the characters are talking, but it doesn't lead them anywhere, it's not what they should be doing as far as character development goes, we're not really seeing the hero's arc, we're not going for the hero's journey right now, I'm not seeing that, like, that scene is just basically like, horrifying things have happened, you have not seen what I've seen. Oh my goodness, what?
That's some impressively bad acting and bad writing. And the deeply unlikable Mary Sue Galadriel has only gotten worse as the first season has gone on.
Remove your hand from me, sir.
How dare! Yeah, it's wild. It's like it's a TV show where one of the main characters is a woman, and she doesn't take shit. It's so fucked up. And she's not even like, by the way, this is someone who watches the show, and I don't think that this character is particularly a good person. I don't think there's a lot of good people in the realm of the elves so far, except for, surprisingly, the black elf, who happens to be a pretty badass character, in my opinion, humble as it may be. But, like, yeah, she's obviously a character who's, like, totally willing to let people around her die, totally willing to let people to sacrifice anyone in her endless pursuit of revenge. That's who that character is. But that doesn't mean the show's garbage because that's a main character. It's interesting when there's a complex character who happens to be the lead. And yes, it's totally fine that it's a woman. That means nothing to me. It could be a woman, a man, it could be a non-binary person. I don't give a fuck. If there's an interesting character who's like, I am driven solely by revenge and I'm going to sacrifice everyone else in the pursuit of that, fine. You know?
Within your lifetime, even to speak the names of those they've taken from me.
She also does this weird facial twitch that makes her kind of look like a rabbit eating a carrot or something. In a recent episode, there was a whole cringe plot line that was supposed to be a kind of cliched left-wing allegory for nationalism, where the characters were literally complaining about the elves coming to take their jobs.
Yeah, Sargon of Akkad is in the show too. That's pretty funny.
This character says, elf workers on our shores. elf workers taking your trades. It's just so tiresome. At any rate, the media has gone into
It's so tiresome. How could anyone try to relate to, I don't know, people stratifying each other based on arbitrary categories like, sexuality, gender, race, stuff like that. Doesn't happen in the real world. Why would we ever talk about this? It's not like anyone's actually oppressed, like indigenous people, black people. None of that. No. Fucking garbage.
drive to defend
Hey, what up, Dark Native? Everyone go to twitch.tv/darknative.
both The Little
It's very
Mermaid
good stuff.
and The Rings of Power. The Guardian had this: Little Mermaid's racist critics pollute magical undersea world with bigotry. Vox.com had this: the racist backlash to The Little Mermaid and The Lord of the Rings is exhausting and extremely predictable. Lord of the Rings and The Little Mermaid are just the latest targets.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As far as me, part of it's have been really funny. Like, there has been some absolutely hilarious parts. It's just like, it's so wild watching adults, grown men, try to twist themselves into literal pretzels in order to be able to justify why they are so off-put by black people or women being predominant figures in movies. Just like, it never stops being funny to me that you are grown adults of all the things, and like, you turn this into your channels. This is your life. This is my lot in life. This is what I want to be. I will define myself by someone who is going to be in the field of basically losing my shit every single time there's a woman or a black person or an indigenous person in a movie role and they're not being vilified for some reason or marginalized for some reason. That's, to me, a really huge thing. It's my calling, my cause, if you will. Oh, yours too, eh, Chico? Yeah? Oh, you're so serious. Did you have a good dream? Yeah? Right to the balls, of course.
Fans. CNN had this article: analysis: a definitive rebuttal to every racist Little Mermaid argument. Mashable had this: hashtag you're all welcome here. The Rings of Power cast condemn racist critics and comments. BBC had this: Lord of the Rings stars condemn racist backlash to new Amazon series cast. It goes on and on. I think what we're seeing right now from corporate America, Hollywood, and from mainstream media critics who back them up is an interesting parallel to politics more broadly. There's a very vocal subsection of audiences who are simply deeply dissatisfied with the direction of certain big-budget film and television franchises, which have gone down the woke road or pushed a diverse...
Okay, so this is where you're all fucking grown-ass clown children, because, like, at the end of the day, there is a huge problem with, under capitalism, it may shock you, these fucking movie industry films are produced, they have to make a profit, and they have to make a profit globally. If you spend $250 million on a movie and a franchise, surprise, surprise, you have to get an ROI on it. That fucking sucks. It's why it stifles innovation, it stifles creativity, it prevents people from making new movies and IPs like we should be doing, because yeah, you can't gamble on that shit. Have I heard of you before? No. Have I heard of the franchise before? No. Have I heard of this fucking hero before? No. Oh, fuck that noise. It's got to be a sequel, a prequel, it's got to involve a franchise everyone loves, it's got to be a superhero movie or a comic book movie. Yes, that is fucking, it sucks. That's just the reality of the life we live in. That has nothing to do with going woke. That's like, you were wrong at the wrong things. I mean, unless you're just outright, like, I just cannot stand to see a black person in a movie. Fine, you're just like a ridiculous racist. But this is not a problem of wokeification of Hollywood. This is not like we have seen suddenly Hollywood trying to meet diversity quotas. All of a sudden Hollywood trying to have women in roles where they're not just sex fucking dolls for us to ogle the entire time. It's like, yeah, it's kind of weird that for a long time a lot of movies were like that, and that's just what things were, and it's probably a good thing, you know? It's nice to see other people in films. That's not what's causing this.
The agenda, and yet their objections have either been ignored, ridiculed, or written off.
Are you thinking of Disney making everything everywhere all at once? Yeah, never. God, no. That's like, ugh, what an amazing movie. Just so amazing. I don't know how many times every one of you has seen it, but I would highly recommend Everything Everywhere All at Once. You will cry, but you will also feel amazing after you cry. I've seen it, I think, 5 or 6 times now, and I've cried every time. And I assume that is just going to be the way I watch that movie for the rest of my life. And it's such a great film, and every one of you should watch it.
As the bigoted intolerance of some kind of ist or phobe, or at the bare minimum, these audience members are made to feel as if they're somehow backward and against progress. And just as with many hot-button political issues of our time, the establishment presents a united front on an accepted position and a way of thinking, and then genuine dissent is not accepted. It's demonized or even censored in the case of reviews or ratings being removed or suspended on certain review websites. Now, you can all probably recall this now iconic Jay Bauman line.
It's super weird that they all take victories in review bombing and then being like, we're being censored because all the reviews we dropped on a movie that hasn't come out and will not come out for like 6 more months are all super racially charged. It's fucking 1984, big censorship. It's like, oh, why did you throw the N-word in the ocean movie? Why did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. I hate the Jews. Da, da, da. Oh, whoa, they're deleting all those comments. Wow, weird. Why would a corporation do that if not to censor us? Seems like it's 1984, big censorship going on right now.
From an episode of Red Letter Media a few years back.
Don't ask questions, just consume product and then get excited for next products.
This obviously became a meme that truly sums up how we're expected to basically just blindly consume what we're given by the entertainment industry without criticism, without examining or reflecting on how bad the quality of the actual product is. And
yeah, but you get why this is weird, right? Like, this is a problem you could have had a concern about and expressed for a very long time. None of this shit is new. You're suddenly pointing out the fact that the Little Mermaid trailer has a record downvote. And guess what? Ariel is not white. And you're suddenly pointing out, ooh, the new Lord of the Rings is terrible. It's the worst because there's a prominent woman figure and a black elf. That's... oh, the new fucking Game of Thrones is terrible because they have highborn black people in roles. That's concerning yourself with.
And I would now also say that one could apply this same meme to the fact that it now seems we're supposed to not only accept mediocrity, but in some cases, the detestable political messaging or agenda being pushed upon us. Like, don't ask questions, just consume woke product and get excited for next woke product. The media can try all they like to help Hollywood.
You know what's wild is the right, in their infinite racism on this topic, are really mad at capitalism, ultimately. It's like, it's so fucked up that there's these big corporations that once a year just get super gay. Why do they all get gay? I don't like gay people. It's gross. But why do they have all these rainbow flags? And now there's like a trans flag in there too. Why? I don't like that either. I don't understand it. It's degenerate. I hate these things. Why are all these companies doing it? Why are they trying to force us? It's the corporations that are forcing us to accept the gays and the trans people. Why? I hate these things. Gross. Sick. And then it's like, no, it's not corporations that are trying to do this. They're not intentionally using an agenda that is controlled by some like big conspiracy from on high. There's not like the Council of Gay, and the Council of Gay has decided that they decree that every corporation shall from henceforth suddenly spread the word of gay and the gay itself to everyone. No, that's not how this works. These companies are reflective of what is going to be the best for their brand. These companies are reflective of what is going to sell their products and make people feel safe in their stores. Because there has been civil rights movements, and they have in some ways been successful, failures in others, but in some ways these marginalized communities are more accepted now, broadly by society, in a way they weren't before in previous generations. These companies are going to reflect that. It's a mirror to sell you shit. That's what they're doing. They don't give a fuck about gay people. They don't give a fuck about trans people. They don't care about that shit. It's to sell you things. That's why this whole thing works. And you sit there with your weird ass avatar being like, well, this is because they're trying to force an agenda on us. This is why this happens.
Would save face publicly. The reality is, it's not working. The audience members complain.
Sorry, folks, badass women make money? Yeah, badass women make money. An all-Asian rom-com cast makes fuck tons of money globally. Turns out people like watching this shit. Turns out a black stormtrooper turned hero in a fucking Star Wars movie didn't make people so offended and unable to process this because the only black person in Star Wars is Lando Calrissian. Who is this other black person I see? I don't like this affable black man. I'm not going to watch this movie. Turns out that's absolute bullshit. And people don't give a fuck if it's a good film and it's fun. They will go pay money and go watch it. Like, absolutely fucking ridiculous.
About how bad these shows and films are not some fringe minority. They're not a subsection that can be overlooked. They're quite substantial. They're a very sizable number of people who previously would have paid good money at the box office or on streaming services if the product was good. But now their intelligence
they are the go woke, go broke fucking theory is absolute horseshit. Like, all your examples is like, well, Star Wars went woke, and then they went broke. Fucking, oh, what, Black Panther, a majority black cast, they're gonna go woke and go broke. And it's like fucking some of the highest grossing films of all time. Like, Jesus. Yeah, there's some examples where they went woke and the film didn't do well, but I don't think that's because they had a black person or they had a woman in the movie.
is being insulted, and when they complain about how bad or divisive a film or TV show is for whatever reason,
Oh, Black
they're
Mermaid,
demonized for it.
divisive.
This is not going to serve
Why did you make
Hollywood's
it
bottom
political?
line in the long run. We know that there's a diversity agenda in Hollywood, and moreover, the powers that be who make these productions know full well that this policy is going to provoke such reactions from fans, but they do it anyway. The coordinated nature of all these articles
It's provoking reactions from racists. Yeah. That's happening a lot. It's again kind of funny to see all of your fucking brains break down from this.
in the mainstream media is very telling.
Also, what's wrong with diversity? Even if that was a true thing, if it was like, there's an agenda, a corporate agenda from on high. We can see the pyramid right now. It's clear as day. And from on high all the way down, they're trying to promote diversity. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Did you want more? Did you want me to say something else? Like, I think that's okay. In like, insofar as corporate agendas go, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of really bad ones. There's child labor. There's actual slavery. There's the exploitation of people. There's people who jump out of buildings to try and kill themselves, but they have to be caught in these nets because the working conditions are so bad. As far as it goes, I mean, if I was to do a triage of all the worst things that companies do, this one ain't bad. You know, like Elon Musk forces his employees to go into work when there's no safety precautions. He won't let them unionize. There's just an entire racist section of Tesla plants that, like, people are called the N-word all the time. That, like, the N-word is written on the walls. They segregate people at Tesla plants. They put black people in different sections of the Tesla plant. They've been sued for that and sued successfully because the racism was so extreme. Like, that's worse. I don't know. In far, like, all the things the companies do, this one, it ain't that bad. You know?
And just goes to show that there's a major push to conduct damage limitation because
Like,
it's simply not.
They pee in bottles. They shit in bags. How can I forget that one? It's pretty fucking rugged, you know? Where it's like, to meet your quotas, you can't take breaks. What, like no break? No breaks. None. You get no breaks. You can't. Well, I have bodily functions. We don't care about your bodily functions. Make do. Figure it out. Problem solve. Think outside the box. Get in the box. That's how this is. I don't want you to think outside the box. I want you to literally shit inside the box. You got boxes in the back of the van. Shit inside them. That's our policy. Like, that's worse. That's worse than promoting diversity. You know, in my tier.
Not going well. In my opinion, it suggests desperation. Insulting fan bases obviously won't make them like your product. It won't endear them, and it will only further alienate them, which results in the accelerated failure of the product itself.
You couldn't be more wrong. By the numbers, these franchises are printing cash. All of them. Star Wars, Marvel. These are like some of the biggest Disney assets that exist today. Bigger even so than Disney's original mascots. What are you talking about?
Thank you very much for watching. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this subject. Be sure to comment below, subscribe if you're new to the channel.
I think I was pretty clear.
And if you'd like to support my work, you can do so via the link below. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. I am thoroughly and utterly transfixed and educated, and I think we all learned something today, and that is, this broke their brains. Every single one of them. I feel like every racist and every person upset about this stuff is super furious now. Pretty sure Cullen isn't interested in hearing my thoughts. Accelerated failure of a product. So what did this so concerned about a multinational corporation failing? Because obviously it's the franchises. You know what? They should be arguing for ending copyright laws being like 75 years in the United States. Like, what if copyright laws were dramatically reduced at the very least? I'm just trying to find a middle ground. And then you get all your things. You can have them. You can play with them. You can do Sonic expansion porn until you black out. Whatever you need, my dude. Like, if this is what it's going to take to make you happy, you can have all the Sonics. You can have them. You can have Knuckles too. You throw Tails in there. You get them all. Do whatever you want. The problem being is that you're like, oh, well, this fucking massive corporation that is working on the franchise in a way I don't like because there's a black person in it. Now it's bad to me because I want it to be Aryan and pure, and that really makes me mad. And so I need to make a movie about it and then make a bunch of videos about it. It's really important to me. Like, just you can have it. You get it all. You get it all, you know? How dirty? Whatever you want. Do your thing, you know? I'm not going to kink shame. Whatever you want to do with it, you can. I mean, at that point, you can also sell it. You can go forth and turn it into a new product, if that's your thing. Or if you want to make a very just wholesome card game out of the Sonic characters that has absolutely no expansion porn, you can do that too. You can have a buffet of Sonics, whatever you need, you know? But it's my pure Aryan mermaids. We needs it at all times.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tal, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.